What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance Season 10, Episode 5, Committed in Matrimony. So let's get started with Rob and Sophie. So Rob and Sophie are finally having the conversation about having children. Now, Sophie had said in the previous episode that she had a medical procedure done when she was a teenager that may or may not allow her to carry her own children. She said that she had mentioned this procedure to Rob and that Rob did not ask any further questions to find out how this really does affect her ability to carry a child. So they never really talked about it because he didn't really ask the questions. Well, now they're finally having the conversation, and she tells Rob that because of her previous medical procedure, which was removing cysts from her ovaries, because of that, she may not be able to get pregnant or carry a baby. So it's not that she doesn't want to have children. She says that she does like kids and that she does want to become a parent at some point after she's gotten herself together, after I guess she's a little bit more stable in her life. She does look forward to having children, but just not right now. But when that time does come to have children, she tells Rob that she will not be able to get pregnant, or she's afraid of getting pregnant, or there may be issues if she does get pregnant. So she's looking into other ways of becoming a parent. So she tells Rob we can either adopt or we can go through surrogacy. Now Rob says that he would prefer to have his own biological children, so he would go the surrogacy route. Now Rob does stress to her that it is absolutely her choice. He doesn't want to pressure her into having children if she doesn't really want children. He doesn't want to pressure her into doing anything that she doesn't want to do. So he wants to make sure that whatever they decide, that she's 100% on board, because he says, look, if you're looking to be in a relationship with someone who does not want to have children, I am not the man for you. So he just wants her to understand that he's willing to let her make that decision, but he also wants it to be known that he himself does want to have children. So I think they both decided that when the time is right, they're going to go with the surrogacy route so that they can have their own biological children. Well, I don't think she really cares if it's biological or not. I think Rob is the one that's like, well, if we're going to do anything, I'd prefer to have my own biological children. So after that, we see Sophie FaceTiming her mother. Her mother does not like Rob. Her mom says that whenever she speaks to Rob, Rob kind of looks at her like he doesn't understand what she's talking about, or looks at her like she's crazy. So the mom really doesn't care for Rob, but the mom is like, you know what, hey, that's your man, you're happy, he makes you happy, and if he makes you happy, you know, I don't have a choice but to be happy for you. So they talk about the whole children thing again, but when Sophie talks about it with her mother, it kind of gave me the impression that she really doesn't want to have children. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know exactly where Sophie stands on this whole having children thing. Like I said, on the one hand, she says that she needs to be more stable in her life, but on the other hand, you know, I don't think having kids for her is a priority, so I don't know. Moving on from there, Sophie and Rob, they plan on going out. Now Rob is not, he says that he's not the going out type, especially now that he's in a relationship. He doesn't really care for going to the bars or the clubs, but Sophie really wanted to go. So they're going to be meeting up with Rob's friend, I think his name is Torai, and one of Sophie's friends that she met through an app. She claims that she met her friend Soraya through the friend side of a dating app, and Torai, he doesn't really like Sophie because he says that when he was going through the app, this dating app, he ran across Sophie's profile as if Sophie was on this app looking for a relationship when she was already in a relationship with Rob. So Torai thinks that Sophie is still out there creeping, looking for other men or whatever, and Sophie wanted it to be clear that she was not looking for a relationship, that she had a profile on this app simply looking for platonic friendships with other women. So they get to the club, they meet Torai, Soraya shows up, they all go inside the club, they kind of joke around about, you know, Soraya and Sophie, whether or not they're actually friends or more than friends or whatever, but Soraya wants to make it very clear that her and Sophie we are just friends. And I think they even asked Soraya, are you even into girls? And she was like, no, I'm not into girls at all. Me and Sophie were just friends. That's it. But Sophie still has not told Rob that she is bisexual. And I think that when she does tell Rob, I have a feeling that Rob isn't going to really like that too much. So moving on from there, the next time that we see Rob and Sophie, there is trouble in paradise. So she's in a completely different environment. She's no longer at Rob's apartment, and the producers are asking her what happened. And she said that she had a dream that Rob was cheating on her online. He was doing online cheating. And so when she woke up, she decided to go through his phone, and she saw that there was an app where he was receiving nude videos from other girls. And I guess she can also see some communications between Rob and these other women, and she did not like what she saw at all whatsoever. So she confronted him with it. They got into an argument about it, and she decided that she didn't want to have anything to do with him. She wanted to leave his apartment, so she's renting her own room somewhere else. And she tells her producers that he has done this before, where he's exchanging videos or pics with other women, and she told him before that if it happened again, that she was going to break up with him. So it has happened again, and she has broken up with him. I'm assuming she's broken up with him. The argument that they had in the car, he kept on like professing his love to her and telling her, I only want to be with you. You're the only one that I want. But I guess in Sophie's mind is like, well, then why do you have to be, turned on by other women and exchanging these nude videos by other women? Because I think in Rob's mind, if it's online and if it's not physical, he thinks that he's good. It's not really cheating. But in her mind, she's like, you're seeking out some type of validation or some type of excitement or some type of arousal or something from other women when you have a whole girlfriend right here. Like, what are you doing? So yeah, Rob, that is absolutely no bueno. If Sophie wants to break up with him, I'm like 100% in agreement with that, because he did it before and he knows how it made her feel before, and then he's still doing it again. And another question I want to know is, he didn't have his phone locked? Like, I don't understand how she was able to go through his phone so easily. Does she know the code, or he doesn't lock his phone? Because if you're doing all that on your phone, you would think that you would have your phone locked, but I don't know what's going on with Rob. Moving on to Igor and Nikki. Like I said, his mother named him Igor. I'm going to call him Igor. I am not calling him Justin just because Nikki feels like he looks like Justin Timberlake. I think that's a stupid reason to call someone by name that's not theirs. So to me, he's Igor. So Igor says the Nikki has a big heart, but she has no patience. He says the Nikki. So Igor says that, he just needs time for his body to like get into the mood to be with Nikki. I've never, like, this is like bizarre to me. Either your woman is turning you on or she ain't. Okay, this whole thing of waiting for the right moment to come for you to get aroused. So the problem is, with men, they have to get to that point or else ain't nothing gonna go down. A woman can fake it. A woman can fake it. She can pretend, and the man won't know any better, or her partner won't know any different. But with the guy, it's gonna be known whether or not you're sexually into your partner or not. So I really feel bad for Igor, because he's probably trying to, do his hardest, his damnedest to get things going with Nikki, because Nikki had threatened to leave, and she said she was going to give him 48 hours or she's going back to America. Now, when we see them at the park again, she told him, you know what, I'm not even going to wait the 48 hours. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave now, because you're just not doing it for me. You're not giving me what I need, which is the intimacy. And he was able to talk her off the ledge, and she decided to stay. But I'm probably jumping the gun, because before we got to that scene in the park, Nikki was asking him in their confessional if it's just about the money, because it seems like nothing else was going on between us except me funding your lifestyle. So is it really just about the money? And Igor says, I don't like it when the Nikki talks about the money. He tells her that the money that you send me, I can barely fill a tank of gas with the money that you send me. So what are you talking about? Is just about the money. And the Nikki tells him, look, I sent you $7,000 just for you to fix your nose. Okay. So don't sit up here and try to act like, I'm nickel and diming you. I'm not sending you enough money. I'm not sending you barely any money at all. She says, we can pull out all the receipts from PayPal and they will see exactly how much money that I have been sending you. So let's stop playing games. So in their confessional, Nikki tells him that he doesn't make her a priority like the way she makes him a priority. She doesn't feel like a priority to him. And I totally believe that. So Nikki this is where she threatens to go home right then and there instead of waiting the 48 hours. He convinces her just to be more patient with him. And Nikki tells us that Igor tends to act like a child when it comes to the subject of intimacy. Like he doesn't want to talk about it. He's uncomfortable talking about it. And I think it's because I really do think that Igor is just using her for money. He's not interested in Nikki emotionally, sexually, mentally, or anything else. He just sees her as, a cash cow. That's all he sees her as. That's how I see it. And I could be wrong. And I hope that, I hope that Igor proves us wrong, because I don't want Nikki to. Now let's talk about Nikki. Now people have been putting in my comments that Nikki's a scam artist, that she's known for scamming people. I don't know anything about that, y'all. I can only go by what this show shows me. I'm just not that kind of reviewer that goes on the internet and starts digging up everybody's life history from the day they were born and figuring out everything. I can't do it. I just watch a television show and I want to talk about the show and then I go to bed after this. So I can't get into I don't know if Nikki's a scammer. Evidently there's rumors out there or reports out there that she's a scammer. And so, she's no good for Igor, and it's not just Igor's fault. And, Igor's not the only one to blame. I don't know anything about that. So after that, Nikki is FaceTiming her mother and they're talking about the lack of intimacy, and the mom suggests to Nikki that maybe you should try a different approach. Instead of like berating him and yelling and screaming and demanding, why don't you just be a little bit softer? I'm thinking she's trying to say just be a little bit softer, be a little bit more seductive. Don't make so many demands. Kind of let him, steer the ship instead of you trying to take control and you try to, tell him what's what. Let him kind of take control of that. So, and also be more patient. Later on, they go out to dinner and they're talking about going to the gym because she asks him, what are the plans for tomorrow? And Igor says, well, I'm going to go work out at the gym. And so then Nikki says, oh, no, he says, I'm going to go work out at the gym, but I'm going to go when you're still sleeping. And then Nikki says, oh, I'll wake up and we can go together. Then he proceeds to tell her that he's not going to go to his regular gym. He's going to take her to a different gym. And she was like, why? Because she's already sensing the BS that he's about to spew out of his mouth. And he says, because the gym that I want to take you to has a higher ceiling. My regular gym has a lower ceiling. I don't know what the hell ceilings have to do with working out. It's not like Nikki is, 10 feet tall. Like, what does the ceiling have to do with anything? And so she checks him and she's like, well, I feel like you don't want to take me to your regular gym because you're ashamed of me. And he's like, no, I'm not ashamed of you. Now, during this conversation, she says that the people who are sitting next to them in the restaurant clocked her, meaning that they figured out that she was, she was genetically assigned male at birth. So, she says, oh, those people over there, they've already clocked me. And I don't know how she figured that out because they were just staring at her. I don't know how she figured out that they clocked her, that they were able to figure out that she was actually born male. Now, she says something about, they were talking, and I think she had mentioned being born a boy. And I think she said that I don't even know how it went down, but somehow or another, she felt like the people sitting next to them were able to figure out that she was born a boy, and they were laughing. And so Igor, to prove to her that he doesn't care what people say or he doesn't care about what people think, like he's proud of her, he gets up and he gives her a kiss on the cheek to kind of like declare to the whole world, yes, my girlfriend is a trans woman and I love her and I'm going to kiss her in front of everybody. I guess, honey, I guess. So why don't y'all go to your regular gym? You gonna take her to your regular gym? Are you gonna start, making love to her if it's all good like that? Moving on to Clayton and Anali. So this is our newest couple. To tell y'all the truth, y'all, I am not happy about them including Clayton and Anali. to me, people like Clayton are the type of people that TLC, I feel like they take advantage of. They want to pick somebody, like they always do this. They want to pick somebody normally from the South who is very awkward, who is not someone that you would expect to be really smooth with the women. Kind of like a Gino, just somebody who's extremely awkward, someone who doesn't have a lot of female, I don't know. It's like they purposely want to pick people that how do I say it? They just want to people that they could easily take advantage of, that they're going to make look very dorky. They're going to make them look very nerdy. They're going to make them look like someone who's not used to having a lot of women, who's not a player, who's not someone who women are just very naturally attracted to. And it's going to be like, then let the hilarity ensue type of thing. Like, let's put this nerdy type guy with this vivacious South American woman, and let's all have a good laugh about it. That's how I see it. And I don't really care for that type of storyline, but it's kind of like a Gino and Jasmine 2.0. Clayton is 30 years old. He's from Kentucky. He's in cybersecurity. He's got 2 guinea pigs, 2 chihuahuas, and 1 mother in the closet. His mom literally lives in his walk-in closet. They tell us that the mom is living with him because she wants to save money for herself to get her own place, but she's been living in that damn closet for 3 years. That's something else. They do something really outrageous. They want us to know there's something very, very crazy and outrageous about this guy. I feel like just that people can make fun of him. Anyways, so he met Anali on a language learning app. They fell in love. He went to Peru to meet her. He ends up proposing to her. He said that she gave a very delayed yes. I don't know what that means. And now she's going to be showing up in a few days to come live with him, his 2 guinea pigs, his 2 chihuahuas, and his 1 mother that lives in the closet. So Clayton is very worried about Anali moving in with him because his mom is a hoarder. He says that she's not a hoarder, but she's got a hoarding tendency. So the apartment is packed to the gills with stuff, just a bunch of stuff. And so he wants to pack up all this stuff and move it to storage. When they get to the storage is at capacity. It is completely, it's like overflowing with stuff, and there's like no room to add any more stuff. So then after that, he takes his guinea pig to the vet, and while he's at the vet, he mentions to the veterinarian that in South America they actually eat guinea pigs. And then he tells the vet that his girlfriend is from Peru, and in Peru they eat guinea pigs. And so when she comes to America, he just hopes and prays that she doesn't eat his 2 guinea pigs. After that, we see Clayton gaming with his best friend Cameron, and he tells his best friend that Anali has not told. That's another thing about Clayton. They want us to know that he's a gamer and that he spends a lot of time gaming, and that he's been playing the same game for like half his life or something. Ever since he was in his early teens, and he's 30 years old. So for 15 years, he's been playing the same game. So they're kind of like adding on to, hey y'all, this is a nerd. How is this nerd gonna handle this hot, vivacious South American woman? Okay, so anyway, so he's gaming with his best friend Cameron, and he says that Anali, his fiance, has a father, and her father has no idea that Clayton even exists. When he was in Peru and he was visiting her, whenever she would come to see him, she would tell her dad that she was going to a job. Now that she's moving to America, she's told her dad that she's coming to America for work. So the dad has no idea that this person even exists. This really reminds me of I forgot their names because I'm not good with names, but 90 Day Fiance, I don't know what season it was her name Annalise or something, and it's the guy, what was his name, I forgot his name, and he had the bald-headed brother that was living with him. And I remember with her too, as well, she couldn't tell her dad. She was so scared to tell her dad that she was moving to America to marry a gringo. Was her name Annalise? I forgot what their names were. Yeah, this is very reminiscent of that. So this is like a mixture of that couple, with the whole angle of the girl not telling her dad about her white boyfriend in America that she's about to marry, and a mixture of Gino and Jasmine, because you have the good-looking Latino woman with the awkward, nerdy white guy, and Yeah, very much recycled storyline. Moving on to Gino and Jasmine. Speaking of, so Jasmine wakes up, or it's the next, I don't know what day it is. She has a rash. She has a really bad rash. She is scratching herself from head to toe. She says, I have a rash, Gino, because your house is so disgustingly filthy. They show us the nasty toilet. They show us the kitchen's, the stove in the kitchen that hasn't been cleaned. Like, I don't understand. Look, Gino, if this is how you live, fine, whatever. But you know there's going to be a whole entire camera crew, let alone your fiance. Why didn't you clean up? People don't have the wherewithal to be like, I'm going to have guests coming, or my fiance or my new wife is going to come live. Let me clean up a little bit. It doesn't cross their mind. I don't understand. Anytime you have people come into your house, the first thing you do is you look at your house to make sure that it's up to par, that there's nothing nasty, disgusting, dirty, or dusty. You clean up because you don't want people thinking that you're some type of a nasty slob. But anyways, so she says she has a rash because his house is so filthy. He doesn't change his pillows. And he says the pillows are fine. You probably have a rash because you're allergic to almonds. And she's like, I'm not allergic to almonds. I eat almonds all the time. It's your nasty house. And he's like, well, if you are allergic to dirt, then how did you live in that nasty apartment with the mice in it in Panama? And she was like, you mother effing liar. I did not have mice in my apartment. She gets her shot. She's fine. She has she had hives. They take her to the doctor. She got a shot. She's going to live, y'all. Relax. Everybody calm down. Jasmine is going to live. She's going to survive. Then they go to the store to shop for linens and pillows and whatnot. And the lady at the store tells them you need to be changing your pillows like every 6 months. You can't, use the same pillows for years and years and years. But, I don't know if it's because Gino's a guy or because Gino's just nasty. I don't know what it is. They FaceTime her son. It's about to be his birthday. And she's going to buy him like a comforter set or room in a bag with the soccer theme because he's very, passionate about soccer or football. And she talks about how she really wants her kids to come. And she starts crying and all this and that. She gets really emotional about her children. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Everything will be okay, Jasmine. I'm pretty sure your kids are going to be able to come. Don't worry. Moving on to Nick and Devon. So with Nick and Devon, this is one of our newer couples that we met last week. He lives in Korea. She's from Searcy, Arkansas. They met in Australia, and now she's here in Seoul, Korea, because Seoul, South Korea, because she's going to meet his family. He has to have approval from his parents before they can get married and move back to America. And that's the whole point of her being in Seoul. So she's extremely nervous about meeting his parents. He tells her all the rules and regulations when meeting Korean parents. You have to, when you get a drink from them, when they hand you a drink, you have to hold it with both hands. When you're sipping it, you can't look them directly in the eye. You have to look over to the side. You got to do this. You got to do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. So she's extremely nervous about all the things that she has to remember to follow because she doesn't want to appear disrespectful, etc., etc. She says she's extremely shy. She's an introvert. That's just her personality. So she's, going through it, having to meet his parents and how all that's going to go. And if the parents don't approve of her, then they're not going to be able to get married. So, he already told her that my parents are already unhappy that I'm considering, marrying an American girl. They want me to marry a traditional Korean girl. So you already have like a whole bunch of strikes against you, but let's just cross our fingers and hope for the best. And that's Nick and Devon. Not much happened with them. That is my little review. Thank you so much, y'all. I really do appreciate you joining me. If you don't forget to rate the video. Don't forget to rate the video on your way out. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.